Hello to everyone watching the video, and let's hop right into systems of equations. The true definition of a system of equations is a set of equations, two or more. We're only going to be focusing on two equations in the system that has a set of answers or coordinate points that fit into all of the equations. You may be wondering right now, what does a system of equations look like? Well, here are some examples of them. Now, with systems of equations, there are three answer types that come with it. Number one is no solution. The system of equations does not have any points that touch. Number two is one solution, meaning they touch at one point. And lastly, third, there is infinite solutions, meaning it's the same equation. Now, since we know what to expect, let's get into solving. Solving systems with substitution. Substitution is going to substitute one of the equations into the other. And the most key thing is to get one equation to y equals or x equals unless one or two of the equations already are. This is our first example of solving systems with substitution. We're going to be using y equals 2x plus 7 and y minus 2 equals 2 parentheses x plus 6. Since we're using substitution of them, one of them has to be y equals or x equals. And let's look to see if that has already been done. We can see that there is y equals 2x plus 7. So now we're going to plug the y equals 2x plus 7 into the other equation. And now it ends up being parentheses 2x plus 7, because we're plugging into the y right there, minus 2 equals 2 parentheses x plus 6. Now let's solve the equation by first simplifying to 2x minus 5 equals 2x plus 12. And then we minus the 2x on the left over to the right, from there to there, so minus 5 equals 12. We minus the 2x over there, and that cancels out with each other. And now we get negative 5 equals 12. Well, if you read that correctly, negative 5 doesn't equal 12, so we can just stop right here and say, this is no solution. It's no solution. And the way to represent that is a 0 with a cross mark out through it. And that means there is no point at which these two equations intersect. Now we're on to our second example. We're going to be using the equations y equals x plus 4 and x plus y equals 8. We're using substitution, and one of them has to be y equals or x equals. So let's look to see if there is any of them that have that. And if I see correctly, there is a y equals x plus 4. Now we're going to plug y equals x plus 4 into the other equation, and it ends up being x plus 4 in parentheses equals 8. So we have the equation set up. Now we just have to solve. So we're going to simplify all this to 2x plus 4 equals 8. And minus the 4 over, 2x equals 4. And lastly, divide the 2 over here. So x equals 2. Now we're not done yet. We still have to figure out the whole coordinate point at which these two equations intersect. So if we just plug in the 2 back into the original equation y equals x plus 4, or we can plug it into this one. If we plug in the 2, y equals 2 plus 4, y equals 6. So if you want to check this over, since we already have our answer 2 comma 6, you can plug in the 2 to this equation as well, and it becomes 2 plus y equals 8. And we can minus the 2 over, and the y now equals 6 still. So that proves that this answer is 2 comma 6. And these are the steps that are used to solve for an answer that gives you only one solution. Now we're on to our last and final example, being number 3. The system of equation we're going to be using is 2x minus 3 equals 5 and negative 3 minus 1 equals negative 2 parentheses x minus 2. Since we're using substitution, as usual, one of them has to be y equals or x equals. We gotta look to see if that has already been done. And as I check it out, I see that it has not been done. So let's make the second equation y equals. First, we're going to simplify this side right here, making it become negative 2x plus 4. And now we can add the 1 over, making it negative 2x plus 5. And lastly, we need to divide the negative 3 to make it fully y equals. So y equals 2/3 x minus 5/3. Now since we have our y equals, we can plug it into the first equation, and it ends up being 2x minus 3 parentheses 2/3 x minus 5/3 parentheses equals 5. Now we can simplify this part right here to make it 2x minus 2x plus 5 equals 5. And now those two cancel each other out, so now it becomes 5 equals 5. Now if I look at that correctly, 5 does equal 5. So what this means is this equation, these two are the exact same. They're just in different forms. So this means there are infinite amount of solutions, and it means all real numbers, which is written like this, as all real numbers. And that means infinite solutions, since it's the exact same equation, so they're going to have the same exact points. Here's some extra practice to help with substitution. Pause the video if you need extra time. Here are the answers of the problem. Pause the video if you need to check them.